Junji Ito, a master of horror manga, is celebrated for his unique ability to weave chilling narratives that tap into the deepest recesses of the human psyche. To truly comprehend the origins of his macabre creativity, one must delve into the enigmatic tapestry of his childhood. Junji Ito was born on July 31st, 1963 in Gifu City, Gifu Prefecture in Japan. Raised in a traditional Japanese household, Ito's childhood was characterized by an atmosphere of quiet suburban normalcy. His family background provided a stable foundation, fostering an environment where creativity could flourish. However, within the seemingly tranquil facade of his upbringing, a young Ito harbored a burgeoning fascination with the eerie and unsettling. I actually grew up in a small city next to Nagano, which is surrounded by mountains and had a lot of hilly roads. I would say that I grew up in a very 3D environment. In terms of growing up, there were a lot of narrow roads in between buildings, which looked like a maze. I would play hide and seek around there and around old hospital buildings that were scary. I believe this is reflected in my manga. Ito's early exposure to various forms of media played a pivotal role in shaping his artistic sensibilities. During the 1970s, the burgeoning horror culture in Japan permeated mainstream entertainment. Television programs, films, and manga dedicated to the supernatural and the grotesque, captivating the imagination of a generation. It was amidst this cultural zeitgeist that Junji Ito found his first glimpses of the macabre. His early immersion into the grim can be traced back to his childhood, where the tendrils of horror took root in the fertile soil of his imagination. The catalyst for this journey into the shadows was none other than Mummy Teacher, a manga penned by the iconic Kazuo Umezu. Umezu's influence didn't stop there. Ito's initiation into the eerie realm of horror continued through the pages of magazines, where his two older sisters avidly devoured the works of Umezu and Shinichi Koga. Enthralled by their choices, Junji Ito found himself drawn into the captivating world of horror manga, laying the foundation for his future artistic endeavors. Nestled in the countryside in a modest city adjacent to Nagano, Ito's formative years were colored by the peculiarities of rural life. The house he called home harbored a bathroom at the end of an underground tunnel, an unsettling setting inhabited by spider crickets. These unsettling encounters with the eerie and the bizarre would later manifest in his works, as Ito intricately wove these childhood experiences into the fabric of his chilling narratives. The manga I was reading wasn't that scary. On the other hand, TV shows where they went into haunted houses or had a medium who could summon spirits, I thought those were scary. Interesting but scary. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself, especially since the bathroom in my house was at the end of an underground tunnel. When they showed photos with ghostly apparitions on those shows, that was scary. I was scared by things that seemed real to me. As for manga, of course, some of it was scary, but for the most part I found it interesting and intriguing. I loved Kazuo Umezu's drawings. Strange creatures, the grotesque, they fascinated me. So I enjoyed reading his manga, but the bathroom was scary. From the tender age of 4, Ito wielded a pencil, embarking on his artistic journey inspired by the haunting tales he devoured in magazines. Drawing became a passion, a therapeutic outlet for the burgeoning artist to channel the otherworldly visions dancing in his mind. I was about 4 or 5 when I began reading manga, and very soon afterwards I wanted to try it for myself. I took a pencil and paper, or sometimes the back of advertisements, and would draw frames, imitating the manga I had read. I started before I even entered elementary school. It was just for fun, of course. That's how it began. Ito's childhood was not without its challenges. As a self-described introvert, he often found solace from the loneliness many children experience in the pages of horror manga, where the boundaries of reality can be pushed to the limits. These formative years of solitude and introspection would later manifest in the atmospheric unease and existential dread characteristic of his storytelling. Drawing from a diverse array of influences, Ito's creative wellspring extends to the horror films of the 20th century, with iconic classics like Dracula and Frankenstein leaving an indelible mark on his artistic sensibilities. The atmospheric allure of period dramas depicting ghostly tales also found resonance in Ito's imaginative landscape, adding layers of depth to his narrative palette. Beyond the realm of visual media, Ito's well of inspiration extends to the traditional art of rakugo storytelling. Immersed in the tales spun by rakugo storytellers, particularly those centered on kaiden ghost stories, Ito discovered a rich source of inspiration. The oral tradition of rakugo, with its evocative storytelling and emphasis on atmosphere, became a significant wellspring for Ito's exploration of horror in manga. The echoes of these diverse influences reverberate through his works, creating a unique tapestry that fuses elements of traditional Japanese storytelling with the global legacy of horror cinema. In traditional Japanese horror, phenomena such as yurei, a ghost apparition, are a dominant theme, and yurei are ethereal, undefined beings like souls. And while I do like yurei and Japanese horror, in my own works I find myself pursuing something closer to Western horror, which features more physical and palpable horrors, such as Dracula or Frankenstein. The idea of horror, which is unquestionably real, is something that attracts me. which results in more realistic horror depictions art-wise, and real-life horrors such as Tomie being featured in my works. Junji Ito's work unmistakably bears the imprint of H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror, a literary subgenre that emphasizes the insignificance of humanity in the face of incomprehensible and malevolent cosmic entities. Lovecraft's influence on young Ito is palpable in the thematic undercurrents of many of his stories, where the boundaries between the known and the unknown blur and existential dread takes center stage. I love H.P. Lovecraft, and I really admire him. It would be great to adapt him as a serialized manga, but I actually saw Go Tanabe create an adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's stories. Afterwards, I ended up not doing it, because I thought it wouldn't be as good as Go's version. As Junji Ito transitioned into adolescence, the intersection of his passion for art and the pragmatic considerations of a career led him down an unexpected path. Ito pursued a degree in dental technology at the Gifu Prefectural Tajimi Technical High School, a decision influenced by practicality rather than an inherent love for dentistry. Little did he know that his divergence from the conventional artistic trajectory would become a defining chapter in the genesis of his horror storytelling. His tenure as a dental technician exposed him to the intricate details of anatomy and the delicate craftsmanship required in that field. While it may seem a far cry from the realm of horror manga, this experience seeped into the very fabric of Ito's creativity. The meticulous precision demanded by dental technology echoed in his meticulous approach to illustrating the grotesque and uncanny in his later works. The amalgamation of his artistic inclination with the precision of dental craftsmanship birthed a unique storytelling style that captivates readers to this day. The dental technician years were not merely a detour, but a transformative period for Ito. He honed his skills in observation and attention to detail, delving into the nuances of human anatomy that would later manifest in the chilling depictions of body horror that characterize many of his stories. The dental laboratory, once a realm of mundane prosthetics and dental molds, became a breeding ground for the grotesque and the eerie in Ito's mind. In dental school, part of my curriculum was anatomy, so this is where I learned some of the basics of anatomy, particularly the teeth and the oral cavity. For my manga, I would buy anatomy books for medical students, which included very visceral pictures of muscles and organs, and used them as a reference for many scenes in my works. Another part of dental school that helped me in my work was learning how to use various shaping and polishing tools. Dental technicians basically use the same set of tools jewelers use. There's a kind of artistry to it, but knowing these techniques allowed me to customize the tools I use for drawing manga, such as adjusting pen holders to fit my hand exactly. Moreover, the social dynamics within the dental profession and the interactions with patients during his stint as a dental technician provided Ito with insights into the human psyche. This exposure to the diverse spectrum of emotions, fear, anxiety, and vulnerability became a fodder for the emotional landscapes of his horror narratives. The unsettling atmosphere of the dental clinic, with its amalgamation of clinical sterility and intimate discomfort, found its echo in the settings of Ito's tales, where the ordinary often morphs into the extraordinary. As the late 1980s unfolded, Junji Ito's life took a significant turn. Armed with the experiences and insights gained during his tenure as a dental technician, Ito began to channel his creative energies into the world of manga with newfound purpose. The transition from the sterile environment of dental laboratories to the vibrant and dynamic realm of storytelling marked a pivotal moment in Ito's artistic journey. During this period, Ito's commitment to his craft intensified. While working as a dental technician by day, he dedicated his nights to honing his artistic skills and refining his unique storytelling voice. The macabre tales that had captivated him during his childhood now served as both inspiration and a roadmap for his foray into the horror genre. One of the earliest manifestations of Ito's burgeoning talent emerged in the form of short stories published in a variety of manga magazines. These early stories, one of which would later evolve into his first hit Tomie, while relatively modest in scope, hinted at the darkness that would later become his trademark. Drawing from his childhood fascination with horror and the unsettling experiences of rural life, Ito crafted narratives that lingered in the minds of readers, planting the seeds for the broader tapestry of terror he would weave in the years to come. The culmination of Ito's early efforts came with the publication of his first solo and long-term work, Tomie, in 1987. This groundbreaking manga introduced readers to Ito's distinctive blend of psychological horror and supernatural elements. Tomie marked the genesis of recurring themes that would define Ito's oeuvre: the intersection of beauty and horror, the fragility of human existence, and the inexorable pull towards the macabre. Tomie was an immediate success, garnering attention for its innovative narrative and Ito's unique artistic style. The story revolved around the eponymous character, a beautiful yet malevolent woman with supernatural ability to regenerate even after death. The juxtaposition of her ethereal beauty and the horror that unfolded around her resonated with readers, establishing Ito as a trailblazer in the realm of horror manga. The success of Tomie marked the beginning of Junji Ito's ascent to greatness in the late 1980s. His ability to tap into the deepest fears of his audience, coupled with his knack for crafting visually striking and psychologically disturbing narratives, set him apart in the world of manga. With each new work, Ito continued to explore the boundaries of horror, pushing the genre into uncharted territory.
When I was in junior high, a boy in my class died in a traffic accident. It felt so odd to me that a classmate who was so full of life suddenly disappeared from the world, and I had a strange feeling that he would show up again innocently. Ever since then, I wanted to give expression to that feeling in my manga. That's how I came up with the idea of a girl who is supposed to have died, but then just shows up as if nothing happened. In real life, it was a boy who died, but I turned her into a girl in the manga.
As Junji Ito entered the 1990s, his reputation as a master of horror manga solidified, and he embarked on a prolific period that showcased the breadth and depth of his storytelling abilities. The success of Tomie not only catapulted him into the spotlight, but also set the stage for a series of groundbreaking works that would further define his legacy. In the early 1990s, Ito continued to explore the themes of body horror, existential dread, and the supernatural in his works. One notable creation during this period was Uzumaki, a manga series lasting 3 volumes that delved into the spiraling descent of a small town into madness. Published from 1998 to 1999, Uzumaki showcased Ito's ability to transform the seemingly innocuous pattern of a spiral into a harbinger of terror. The relentless and surreal nature of the spiral, combined with the psychological unraveling of the characters, demonstrated Ito's mastery in crafting atmospheric and deeply unsettling narratives. Hanging Balloon is one of Junji Ito's more famous and unsettling short stories, published in his series called Horror World of Junji Ito, among many other short stories from his career. Hanging Balloon introduces readers to a bizarre phenomenon where gigantic, grotesque balloons appear and suspend in the sky. These ominous entities evoke a surreal and nightmarish atmosphere as they dangle, ominously defying the laws of gravity. The narrative delves into the psychological horror of witnessing these inexplicable balloons, and how they always seemingly manage to track down and kill their lookalikes, exploring the impact of their presence on the characters and the broader implications for the world they inhabit. Ito's knack for combining the eerie with the mundane is evident in Hanging Balloon, as the story unfolds with a sense of creeping dread and an underlying sense of cosmic horror.
I lived in the countryside, but I occasionally went into town. I would see ad balloons floating above the buildings, and they were symbols of life in the big city which I aspired to. Also, I liked flying saucers as a kid. UFOs, strange, unidentified, mysterious objects in the sky, so I combined elements which I liked and incorporated them into my work.
The Thing That Drifted Ashore is another iconic short story from the horror world of Junji Ito that introduces readers to a coastal town grappling with the mysterious arrival of a grotesque, otherworldly creature washed ashore. As the townsfolk attempt to comprehend the nature of this enigmatic being, the narrative unfolds with a mix of horror, curiosity, and a sense of impending doom. Junji Ito's skill in blending body horror with atmospheric unease is on full display in this tale, crafting a sense of foreboding as the characters grapple with the implications of the creature's presence and its potential impact on their lives. Parallel to his shorter ventures, Ito once again returned to longer storytelling, and this time with a science fiction twist. Gyo, published from 2001 to 2002, introduced readers to a world where fish and other marine creatures were inexplicably animated and driven by a mysterious force. This work expanded Ito's repertoire, demonstrating his versatility in weaving horror narratives that ranged from psychological to supernatural, all while maintaining his signature style. When I was a child, my parents, who were of the war generation, would tell me tragic and frightening war stories, so I naturally developed a strong awareness of war as a scary thing. What's more, as a boy I was afraid I would be drafted as a soldier when I grew up. This fear of mine naturally developed into anti-war feelings, and I think that's reflected in my work. Gyo. One notable addition to Ito's repertoire in the 2000s was the enigma of the Amagara Fault, a short story included at the end of Gyo that delved into the psychological horrors associated with an inexplicable geographical phenomenon. The narrative revolved around a mysterious fault in the mountains, where human-shaped holes appeared, each drawing individuals to their unique macabre destinies. This tale showcased Ito's prowess in tapping into primal fears and existential dread, leaving readers with a lingering sense of unease. Junji Ito's short story Greased ventures into the realm of body horror, introducing readers to a peculiar phenomenon surrounding a slippery, oily substance and its impact on a family. Based on a traumatizing incident from Ito's dentistry studying days involving a fellow classmate's dirty acne-giving mattress, the narrative explores the grotesque consequences of this bizarre occurrence, delving into the psychological and physical transformations experienced by the character Goro. Ito's ability to evoke a visceral reaction from readers is evident in the vivid and disturbing imagery presented in Greased, making it a memorable addition to his body of work. In The Long Dream, Junji Ito weaves a narrative that explores the eerie consequences of a mysterious medical condition that causes individuals to experience extraordinary, prolonged dreams. As the affected subjects live entire lifetimes within the confines of their dreams, the story delves into the psychological toll, existential questions, and the blurred lines between reality and the dream world. Ito's masterful storytelling in The Long Dream navigates through the profound emotional and philosophical implications of this peculiar affliction, creating a narrative that lingers in the reader's mind.
When I was a kid, my eldest sister told me something she had learned. She said that dreams are viewed in an instant. You see, when you're sleeping, you have a dream. You feel time passing by, but for somebody looking at the dreamer objectively, the dream only takes an instant. I did some research online recently. It seems that this used to be a major theory. I think they call it the instantaneous generation theory. I was fascinated with this notion. I imagined that if you could have a dream that lasted for a considerable duration, it might be possible to leave a very long dream in an instant as well. At first, I thought I might make it a science fiction story. I used to love science fiction in middle school, and I created short stories under my name. But I only got through the beginning before I stopped. It was an interesting topic, however, so I came back to it, this time as horror. That's how the story came to be.
In Fashion Model, Junji Ito explores the dark side of the fashion industry as the story unfolds around a disturbing and supernatural fashion model. The protagonist, a scriptwriter, becomes entangled in a world of supernatural horror, where the pursuit of photo shooting takes a grotesque turn. Ito's narrative skill shines through as he blends a societal commentary with elements of psychological and supernatural horror, creating a thought-provoking and visually striking tale that challenges conventional notions of beauty as a universal standard. Slug Girl is another famous and grotesque surreal tale where Junji Ito explores the consequences of a girl's bizarre transformation of her tongue into a slug-like creature. The narrative navigates the physical and psychological challenges faced by the protagonist as she grapples with her grotesque metamorphosis. Ito's ability to turn mundane experiences into deeply disturbing scenarios is evident in Slug Girl, creating a story that oscillates between the horrific and the tragically poignant. In My Dear Ancestors, Junji Ito delves into the supernatural as a family is haunted by a malevolent ancestral spirit. The story explores themes of tradition, familial bonds, and the supernatural consequences of neglecting ancestors' wishes. Ito's narrative craftsmanship is evident as he weaves a tale that combines cultural elements with horror, creating an atmospheric and chilling exploration of the supernatural forces that can shape the destinies of those who dare to defy tradition. In 2006, Junji Ito embarked on another ambitious longer project with Black Paradox, a collection of interconnected stories that explored themes of identity, transformation, and the macabre. This work showcased Ito's ability to craft a narrative tapestry that seamlessly interwove various elements of horror. From body horror to psychological terror, Black Paradox reinforced Ito's reputation for delivering intricate and thought-provoking tales that transcended the conventional boundaries of the horror genre. While the 2000s showcased the evolution of Junji Ito's storytelling techniques, it also marked his continued exploration of Lovecraftian themes. The manga series Hellstar Remina, serialized from 2005 to 2006, delved into cosmic horror on an unprecedented scale. The narrative followed the impending doom brought by a newly discovered planet on a collision course with Earth. This work demonstrated Ito's aptness for crafting apocalyptic scenarios and exploring the fragility of human existence in the face of cosmic forces. Army of One is a bonus story after the conclusion of Hellstar Remina, which unfolds as a chilling narrative where a series of murders involving Stitch bodies are being uncovered. As the protagonist grapples with the mysteries behind the group known as the Army of One and the unusual powers they seem to have, the story takes unexpected and unsettling turns. Junji Ito's exploration of the psychological and the existential implications of individuality and solitude adds depth to the narrative, making Army of One a captivating and thought-provoking addition to his body of work. In 2006, Junji Ito married Ayuko Ishiguro, a picture book artist known for traditional Japanese-style works featuring cute cats in humorous situations, marking a union of two creative minds. As of 2026, the couple has 2 children. This addition to their family represents a new chapter in Ito's life, showcasing a balance between his iconic contributions to horror manga and the personal fulfillment found in family life with his accomplished artist wife. Junji Ito's Cat Diary, Yon and Mu offers a delightful departure from his usual horror genre, providing readers with a charming and humorous glimpse into the artist's real-life experiences with his 2 cats, Yon and Mu, and his married life. In this semi-autobiographical manga, Ito reveals a lighter side of his personality as he navigates the quirks and idiosyncrasies of living with feline companions. The narrative combines Ito's distinctive artistic style with a touch of comedy. Capturing the essence of his interactions with Yon and Mu, readers are treated to amusing anecdotes. From the challenges of litterbox training to the unexpected antics of his mischievous feline friends, Cat Diary showcases Junji Ito's versatility as a storyteller, demonstrating that his creative prowess extends beyond the realm of horror, making it a delightful read for both fans of his macabre works and those seeking a more light-hearted exploration of his personal life. One notable addition to Ito's repertoire after this period was Fragments of Horror, a collection of short stories published in 2014. This anthology showcased Ito's versatility in crafting narratives that ranged from psychological horror to supernatural terror. Each story in Fragments of Horror was a standalone masterpiece, exploring the myriad facets of fear and unease, with the precision and artistry that had become synonymous with Junji Ito's name. In addition to his prolific output of original horror manga, Junji Ito showcased his versatility as an artist by undertaking ambitious adaptations of literary classics. Two notable projects in this regard were his adaptations of Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. No Longer Human, originally written by Osamu Dazai and hailed as a Japanese classic, is a deeply introspective and psychologically complex novel. Ito's adaptation, serialized in 2017, brought a fresh visual perspective to the haunting narrative. In his signature style, Ito delved into the tortured psyche of the protagonist, exploring the themes of alienation, despair, and the struggle for identity. The visual interpretation added a layer of horror and unease to Dazai's existential masterpiece, creating a chilling and visually stunning adaptation that captivated both fans of literature and horror enthusiasts. Similarly, Junji Ito took on the monumental task of adapting Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The classic novel, originally published in 1818, explores themes of creation, morality, and the consequences of playing God. Ito's adaptation, serialized from 2013 to 2014, reimagined the iconic tale with his distinctive blend of horror and psychological depth. The visual portrayal of the creature and the ethical dilemmas faced by its creator in Ito's adaptation added a unique and unsettling dimension to the timeless narrative. By infusing his own artistic interpretation into the literary classic, Ito paid homage to Shelley's work while offering readers a fresh perspective on the horrors of scientific ambition and its repercussions. These adaptations demonstrated Junji Ito's ability to breathe new life into well-known literary works, infusing them with his unique brand of horror. By undertaking projects of such magnitude, Ito showcased his artistic range and contributed to the broader discourse on the intersection of horror literature and visual storytelling. Censor is another manga series created by Ito. Originally serialized from 2018 to 2019, the series was an unprecedentedly surreal Lovecraftian story. When conceptualizing the book, Ito chose to venture into a more character-driven narrative, a departure from his usual approach. As he worked on the project, Ito embraced uncertainty about the story's conclusion, preferring to organically develop the plot while exploring the lives of the characters, making Censor a strikingly unique step towards character-focused storytelling in Ito's Lovecraftian worlds. As the landscape of manga continued to evolve, Ito embraced the digital era, engaging with fans through online platforms and expanding his reach beyond traditional print media. His online presence allowed him to connect directly with a global audience, solidifying his influence not just in Japan but across international borders. Furthermore, the influence of Junji Ito extended beyond the realm of manga into other forms of media. His impact on the horror genre was evident in the inspiration drawn by filmmakers, video game developers, and artists globally. Ito's distinctive blend of psychological horror, body horror, and supernatural elements influenced a new generation of creators who sought to capture the same atmospheric unease and existential dread that permeated his works. The past few years have seen the arrival of numerous anime adaptations of Ito's work, each achieving varying levels of success and critical reception, with the new Uzumaki anime on the horizon for 2024.
For the Junji Ito collection, Shinobu Takeshira was the director. She really likes my work and respects it. In the way she expressed the mood of the manga, told the stories, and showed the images, I got the impression that she took great care in handling my work. I think some episodes turned out even better than the original.
In recognition of his unparalleled contributions to the world of horror manga, Junji Ito received numerous accolades and awards. The recognition of his mastery extended beyond niche circles, earning him a place among the literary and artistic luminaries of his time. His ability to tap into the primal fears of humanity and craft narratives that transcended cultural boundaries cemented his legacy as a true innovator in the horror genre. In recent years, Junji Ito's impact on popular culture has only grown. For most of his career, Ito remained significantly less well known than many other horror artists, like Umezu and Koga in Japan. But in the last decade, his reputation has shot dramatically upward, likely due to his status as an internet sensation, with panels and artwork being spread en masse via social media. His stories have become a staple in discussions about the evolution of horror manga, and his influence is visible in the works of contemporary artists who have embraced the unsettling and the bizarre.
Well, when it comes to manga, I don't have long-term aspirations about some grand-scale project I'd like to create. I'm more about devoting all my energy to the work that's in front of me. what kind of manga I'd like to create. If I had something to say, I would like to create more short works I can be satisfied with. As for non-manga projects, for this art book here, the cover is an original I drew. I'd like to draw more single works like that. I think drawing such works, illustrations, is fun. Recently I've been doing mostly work with digital tools, but doing things the analog way, drawing on paper like old times, is enjoyable for me. So I'd like to do more of these single image works.
As we reflect on the genesis of horror through Junji Ito's lifetime, it becomes evident that his journey from the quiet suburbs of Gifu City to the global stage of horror manga has been nothing short of extraordinary. Junji Ito's ability to transform ordinary experiences into extraordinary tales of terror, coupled with his unrelenting commitment to innovation, has left an indelible mark on the landscape of horror storytelling. The master of horror has not only embraced the shadows, but has become a guiding light for those who seek to explore the darkest corners of the human psyche through the art of manga.